This is insane, says Elon Musk, and I agree. Let's go through all of today's Tesla stock news, starting with this crazy story. Tesla will no longer be able to sell vehicles in Sweden because of the strike, as new buyers will no longer be able to have new license plates. This strike is seriously escalating, and the reason why these new people will not be able to get new license plates is because these license plates have to be mailed through PostNord. And according to the Swedish Transport Agency, the registration plates may not be distributed in any other way. The blockade concerning PostNord's deliveries to Tesla began applying on Tuesday afternoon, so just now. This is all translated from Swedish to English with Google Translate, so the wording is a bit odd at times. But the postal company says we are neutral in the basic conflict. We do not bypass the blockade. Shipments destined for Tesla are not distributed. The right to strike is so strong in Sweden that it counts as force majeure. This means that we are not violating any laws, basically they are saying. This year until October, including October, roughly 17,000 new Teslas have been registered in Sweden, or about 1,700 cars per month. New registrations have continued though, even since the strike broke out. Last week alone, approximately 500 new cars were delivered. However, there's one small positive here. The plates are ordered when the car leaves the factory, so there will be a delay before the postal blockade actually hits car delivery. So for now, everything is still going as normal. No changes yet. We will probably start feeling this within the next maybe 30 days or so. Possibly maybe within a week or two if the vehicles that are coming to Sweden are coming from Giga Berlin and not from Giga Shanghai, which is quite likely. And there doesn't seem to be an easy workaround here because the plates cannot be handed out or picked up directly from the plate manufacturer. Tesla, in a written statement, said that the mail blockade does not have an immediate impact on our delivery capability, but we will definitely see an impact very soon. The postal company is not owned just by Sweden. It is also owned by the government of Denmark, actually. And the decision making is split between Denmark and Sweden 50-50. Sweden seems to be fairly hostile at this point to Tesla, but Denmark, I haven't really heard anything bad about Tesla in Denmark, so maybe the government of Denmark could help Tesla here a little bit. So what is going to happen here? Well, Tesla this year is going to deliver about 1.8 million vehicles. About 20,000 vehicles will be delivered in Sweden, perhaps a bit less than that now. I don't think Tesla is likely to give in to unions' demands and basically let all of Tesla's employees in Sweden unionize, because this could encourage other employees in other countries to do the same, and Tesla really does not want that. The most bizarre thing here is that Tesla's employees in Sweden do not want to be under a collective agreement, and yet Tesla is being forced to do this. Employees don't want this. Tesla does not want this. Why is the union getting involved? If employees were supporting the union, then it would be a bit different, but they are not. This is just pure blackmail. I think it is more likely for Tesla to just exit Sweden than to give in to unions' demands. James pointed out that communist governments are treating Tesla better. That's weird, but it's true. Gary Black himself just went to check out a Cybertruck that arrived in Chicago, and what he's saying is actually quite bullish. The Cybertruck looks absolutely stunning when you are standing next to it. My partner, who hated the idea of me getting a Cybertruck when I first showed her pictures, was in love with it once she saw it in person. Quote, "Now I get why you want one so bad. When is ours coming?" I think guys liking the Cybertruck is one thing, but wives, girlfriends liking the Cybertruck, I think is quite a big deal. So I say for the Cybertruck, that is pretty bullish. It appears that every single day we can expect to see Cybertruck in more and more different stores around the country. Someone created this website to show us exactly where all of the Cybertrucks are in showrooms, and currently we have 9 different locations already. I expect to see quite a few more before the delivery date. It is interesting though that there are none in Texas. At this point, I am 99.99% sure that the Cybertruck Cybertruck delivery event will not be delayed. This Cybertruck is set to medium ride height, and already it looks pretty high, so at the highest setting, it's gonna be really high. Some people are saying that the Cybertruck is smaller in person than what they imagined, which to me means easier parking. So I personally, as someone who is quite interested in getting a Cybertruck, I like that. But I never ever owned a pickup truck, and I never planned to own a pickup truck before. The first Cybertruck deliveries start exactly in 1 week, next Thursday. All right, Tesla confirms Model 3 performance to return in early 2024 with upgrades. And according to a Tesla director, the upgrades will not just be some simple upgrades, they will be pretty special upgrades. So now I am really curious. The new Model 3 performance will bring to fruition everything Tesla wanted to do with the electric sedan when it first launched in 2018, but couldn't because of the production hell the company was going through to scale production. Sadly, we don't really have any specifics other than the upgrades being pretty special. One thing that we do know is that the Model 3 will retain the performance moniker, and it will not be called a Plaid Model 3. But from a previous leak, we know that Tesla will use a motor that's called a Plaid motor. It also seems when the Model 3 will finally launch in North America, all of the trims will be launched all at once instead of just the rear-wheel drive and the long-range all-wheel drive models being launched without the performance model. So likely we will see this vehicle in early 2024. Here's some good news for Tesla. Tesla has won a court case against an owner in China who tormented the company with protests at stores and events over an alleged brake failure that was proven non-existent. We haven't heard about this for about 2 years as this was working through the court system. But during the court process, they had a third party inspect the vehicle to check the brakes, something Tesla claims the owner was preventing prior to the legal process. And it confirmed that there was no issue with the brakes. Also, Tesla accessed the logs from the accident showing that there was no issue. It proved that the driver was at fault. And now she needs to write a public apology to Tesla, pay $280 to cover legal costs, as well as 20,000 yen, so that's about $2,800 to cover the cost of the inspection. So not really a big punishment, it's very minor. If a competitor paid her, let's say, $20,000 to stage all of this, it was worth it because her fine is so low. Source says he was just using FSD beta, and one of his favorite features is how when approaching a semi-truck on the highway, the car automatically shifts slightly to one side to give the semi more space. Quite a while ago, it did not do that when I was on a road trip, but now everyone is saying that it is doing that, and I imagine it must be quite an improvement. Every time before, when I would see a semi, I would pretty much disengage most of the time, if not every time pretty much, because the car would just stay dead center in the lane, and I was not a fan of that. The most annoying thing for me when using FSD beta is phantom braking, but Paul here says that phantom braking slowdowns are much rarer now and less dramatic, so that's good. From my experience before, maybe let's say, maybe 9 months ago or more, when there would be phantom braking, oftentimes I couldn't figure out why did the car brake here. Now there's phantom braking, but I can sort of figure out why it did that. It's like, oh, it thought that it was a red light, but it was red only if you are going to turn left instead of going straight. And yeah, when it does happen now, I can confirm it is generally less dramatic and it's manageable. Before, it really scared me to a point where I did not use autopilot for a little while. And Elon just provided a latest FSD update. Supervised FSD is vastly safer than human driving, and supervised FSD is trending well. Over time, version 12 end-to-end neural nets will far exceed human safety even when unsupervised. Troy just released his latest public estimate for Tesla's deliveries this quarter, and the number is slightly lower, 480,000 instead of 483,000, which at a first glance doesn't really make all that much sense because the numbers from China that we got just now were quite surprising because not only the deliveries were fine, but more importantly, Model Y deliveries were super strong, and we know that Model 3s are still exported to Europe, and that's why the deliveries were pretty weak for the Model 3 in China. But the overall deliveries were really good. So it's surprising that this would go down. However, it is important to point out that this is from November 15th. So this is not completely up-to-date information. So next week, unless something bad happens to Tesla, I would expect this number to probably increase. But at the same time, we are seeing more discounts happening. So perhaps some orders slow down, and maybe because of that, Troy would decrease his estimate next time. So we'll see, but everything to me at the moment looks fairly good. Automotive News Europe has just made a call that the Model Y will end up the year in Europe being the #1 best-selling vehicle in all of Europe, even though we still have 2 months to go. Tesla has just updated its website to better illustrate how to charge Tesla's vehicles and how easy it is to charge Tesla's vehicles. It's a good update. I think also some people wonder what happens if it's raining and you want to charge your vehicle outside at a supercharger. It might be good for Tesla to demonstrate that as well. And I like this part. It says just enter your destination and then Tesla will automatically do everything for you. Optimize the route, measure the battery, and it will recommend exactly where and when to stop. Tesla just started a new promotion in the US beginning today. All customers who order and take delivery of a Tesla Model 3 or a Model Y by December 31st will automatically receive 6 months of free supercharging. Steven just did a poll. If you own Tesla stock, do you in principle support Tesla investing in X.ai? And 89% of the people said yes, but also keep in mind that 5% said they don't own Tesla stock or they just wanted to see the results. So actually, more than 89% of the people are in favor of Tesla investing in X.ai. Now, I saw some people saying that, oh, it would be a massive investment, therefore Tesla shouldn't really do it. I don't think it would be a massive investment. For Tesla, relatively speaking, it would be pretty much nothing, I think. And if Tesla is going to do it, then Tesla should do it right now, because over time, probably more institutional investors will own Tesla stock, diluting us retail Tesla stock investors, which means that Tesla would then be less likely to accept such an investment because institutional investors probably would be opposed to this. Well, some of them, certainly not as many of them, will support this decision as retail Tesla stock investors would. Here's some crazy and surprising but good data for Tesla. Tesla gets more inbound website traffic from people searching for the Cybertruck X and S as well as the Roadster than it does from people searching for the Model Y, a product that does 10 times those products' combined unit sales volume. Here's the Cybertruck, Model Y, and Model 3. Imagine what is going to happen after the Cybertruck actually launches. All design and engineering of the original Tesla Roadster is now fully open source. Whatever we have, you now have, says Elon Musk. But of course, there's a catch. Some assembly may be required. Investors generally do not like things like this, but if you look at Tesla's mission, this move makes perfect sense. Elon should do this more often if he can. I really like this. If you want to try a Tesla for a few days, you can rent one at Hertz. This is free advertising for Hertz, of course, but also it is advertising for Tesla, basically. A few days ago, Elon said that customers might be able to try FSD 12 in about 2 weeks. But how long exactly is that? Well, someone actually analyzed how long 2 weeks actually is when Elon Musk says it's 2 weeks. Depending on the year, when Elon says it will take 2 weeks, it can take from 4 to 7.6 weeks on average. So I say maybe about 6 weeks or so, at least that has been the case so far this year. So a big shout out goes to Elias for putting this together. And actually there was one instance, but only one, when 2 weeks actually were 2 weeks. The longest instance was 11 weeks. So based on all of this, we should see FSD 12 being tried by a customer in no longer than 3 months. A shout out goes to Farzad. Elon just reposted Farzad's post. X is an existential threat to mainstream media. Mainstream media being neutral towards X is extremely unlikely. I fully agree with that. Legacy media companies are desperately trying to kill this platform by any means possible, says Elon. But I believe that legacy media companies will not be successful. Their attacks, though, will become more ferocious and ridiculous as they approach death, but that will hurt their credibility and that will further actually accelerate their demise. And you do not need to look far. You just look at Media Matters and what they tried to do to X just now. Yeah, they seriously hurt their credibility. Elon said yes to this post. This shows what journalism was like before, and I think that was accurate. This is what it is like now, and I think it's already sort of turning into this where you have a lot of citizen journalism as well. I don't think that all of these legacy media companies, I don't think all of them will just go away, but they will lose power. They will become less popular and they will no longer be able to control the narrative as easily as they did before. And we are already seeing that. Garbage truck in 1957. Okay. And here's a garbage truck now. Oh boy. Maybe this explains why that journalist that was asked by Elon Musk, do you like BBC? Did not answer that question, even though he works for BBC. And as a Tesla stock investor, I like seeing this because this reduces the odds of Elon selling more Tesla stock. X surpasses Instagram and Facebook by a significant margin in driving traffic through Google. That's pretty impressive. So we now are getting a glimpse of why the board actually fired Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, who was fired and now is back. Before OpenAI fired Sam, several staff researchers sent the board of directors a letter warning of a powerful artificial intelligence discovery that they said could threaten humanity. The letter and AI algorithm was a catalyst that caused the board to oust Altman. And if this is true, it is not pretty at all. The sources cited the letter as one factor among a longer list of grievances by the board leading to Altman's firing, among which were concerns over commercializing advances before understanding the consequences. They are calling this project that could potentially lead to AGI Q-Star, and they basically believe that their new findings could eventually translate into novel scientific research, which would be a huge deal because right now AI can just sort of tell you what we already know, but it doesn't come up with anything actually really new. So if they are right, this is going to be a huge, massive deal. Elon actually posted a link to this article saying this is extremely concerning. So knowing all of this information now, the actions at the board are starting to make more sense. I think it is fairly important to not rush commercializing AI before we really know and understand how it works, why it works this way, what can it do. It appears that Sam Altman and the board probably had a disagreement over this. And over the next few days or weeks or months, we will probably learn a lot more about what actually went down. GM's robotaxi unit Cruise is planning to relaunch in one city, the company said just now. This comes right after the CEO of Cruise resigned and also the chief product officer left together with the CEO, which I think tells us all we need to know about Cruise. It's not really working. We are getting a lot of new Cybertruck pictures, but we are not hearing anything about the panel gaps. The silence from the panel gap crowd is deafening. Yesterday, we learned that some of the FSD language in Tesla's owner manuals in China was removed, but Tesla officially indicated today that prep work to roll out FSD beta is currently underway in response to reporters' inquiry. Though no specific timeline is given, I'm guessing it will be when version 12 is ready, says Ray. So likely, I'm guessing next year, early next year. Gary asked his Tesla contacts in Chicago about Cybertruck pricing, but no one is saying anything. Gary is sticking to the prediction that the tri-motor is going to be under $80,000 to qualify for the $7,500 credit. The dual motor is 60,000 and the single motor is basically 50,000. Gary posted this picture. He didn't say this is a Cybertruck from Chicago, but I assume it is, and it looks beautiful. Gary Black just updated his catalyst list. He's predicting that the FSD OEM licensing deal is now going to happen in 2024. Earlier, he believed that it would happen in this quarter. That was from a few months ago. And number 6, he thinks that, India importing Tesla vehicles would also be a catalyst. I definitely agree with this one. And we might see India and Tesla come to some sort of agreement, final agreement, official agreement sometime next year about building a gigafactory over there. Tesla just released a new video. Let's take a look.
My name is Daniel Ho. I'm the Director of Vehicle Programs here at Tesla. So we've made a lot of changes to Model 3 as part of this upgraded Model 3. Exterior changes, interior, as well as chassis changes. First thing that you will notice when you open and close the doors is the doors are new. We have changed the front, rear door, inner and reinforcements. On the interior of the car, we've also added the far side airbag, blind spot indicators. Those things together significantly improve the safety. We've recently made some updates as well to Model Y. Changes are not just aesthetic changes, they're also changes to improve the performance of the car. And it's the best-selling car in China. What I love about Model Y, the car just feels very roomy. Living with the car every day is just so easy. The thing that we love about most is safety. Safety is one of the highest priorities for us at Tesla. All of our vehicles are designed to achieve the highest rating in safety. This is very important to us, and we're really excited about the result. As a philosophy, we believe that the best crash is no crash. We see the autopilot system as a key part of that safety suite. We're now moving exclusively to vision systems. We believe that that is the best path getting to full self-driving capabilities. What we're finding is in this market, there are a large number of very competitive local manufacturers. There is also very high customer expectations in the market. It means that we need to bring the best possible products to market here.
I think Tesla needs to bring the best products everywhere, but the market in China is the most competitive by far. And YouTube says you should watch this video next, but if you haven't finished watching this video yet, watch this one first. My name is Matt Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.